If you are overwhelmed by SEO, you are not alone. Far from it, actually. But as a Milspouse photographer who's frequently relocating their business, it can be really helpful to have Google working for you, so it's worth taking the time to figure it out. In this video, I'm going to show you some things that you can do today to start optimizing your website, and I'm going to do this by throwing it back to my very first website so you can learn from my mistakes. Hey friend, I'm Erin, military spouse and teacher turned photographer, and I love helping fellow Milspouse photographers build businesses that thrive despite frequent moves. I'm glad to have you here, and I'm excited to dive into SEO. Now, I've said the term SEO a couple times now, and you might not even know what that is, so let's start there. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it just refers to how you get your website to show up as a result in a search engine, namely Google. The more optimized your website is, the higher you will rank on the list of results, and then the more people will see your site. Before we talk practical strategies, there's two really important things I want to note. First, SEO takes time. You're not going to make these changes and then see yourself climb to the top of the Google rankings overnight. It's best to take the time to make these changes well, but then focus your energy on other marketing avenues for a bit. It could take a couple of months before you start consistently getting leads through Google, but when you do, I promise you it's worth it. Second, Google views each page of your website separately, so you want to be really careful that different pages, like your home page, your about page, your packages page, and so forth, aren't competing against each other. You're going to do this by optimizing each page for different keywords. Now, what are keywords? Let's get into that. If you're unfamiliar, a keyword or a key phrase is basically what someone is entering into a search engine. So if somebody, let's say, is living in Albuquerque and wants to find somebody to take pictures of their family, they might search for an Albuquerque family photographer. And then Google reads every website on the internet, finds the ones that look like they are for Albuquerque family photographers, and those show up highest in the search results for the person who's searching. So when you're moving to a new place, you want to think about what your keyword should be. In other words, what do you want to show up as a result for when someone is searching for you in Google? A good place to start is the city that you're in and the type of photographer that you are. So I'll use myself as an example. Now, as a Dayton family photographer, I would want to optimize maybe my homepage for Dayton family photographer and my about page for Dayton newborn photographer and my pricing page for Dayton photography. Do you see what I'm doing here? None of these pages I'm going to optimize for the same words because that's going to make them compete against each other. But these are all different inquiries that I would like to show up as a result for. So you think about what those keywords should be, and then you start to optimize each page on your website for them. This will be important when it comes to blogging as well, because blogs are basically just additional pages on your website. So you'll want to think about what keywords you could use on blog pages. To do this, I would encourage you to think about popular locations for sessions as well. As an example, I haven't lived in Albuquerque now for almost 3 years, but I still get regular web traffic on a blog I wrote that was optimized for Elena Gallegos open space. So that tells me that people are still searching for family photographers to do sessions at that location. Now, I'm not getting bookings from this anymore because I don't live there, but it still is driving traffic to my website, which is helpful. So I'll take that. In an effort to keep this simple, I think you can brain dump a pretty lengthy list of potential keywords just using your main city, your surrounding cities, any popular locations, as well as the type of photographer that you are. So as a Dayton family photographer, maybe I'm using Kettering family photographer and Oakwood family photographer and Centerville family photographer, different surrounding cities or popular locations that I'm going to shoot at. If you want to kick this up a notch, there are also paid tools that you can use like Keywords Everywhere or Ubersuggest to gather even more keyword options, but honestly, I think you can do a lot without them. Okay, enough talk about what keywords are. Let's dive into how we actually use them. To make this incredibly simple, you have to use your keywords on your webpage. I know it sounds so obvious, but this is often overlooked. For example, if I want my webpage to show up as a result for Dayton family photographer, I need to use the phrase Dayton family photographer regularly on my website. I think we get so caught up in telling our clients about who we are and why we love capturing memories for them and how we got into photography that we kind of push SEO to the side or we don't even think about it to begin with. And we're not thinking about whether or not those words that we're using are actually strategic. Because actually, we're not just talking to potential clients on our website, we're also talking to Google. And if we want Google to help us out and show our website to people searching for what we want them to be searching for, Google needs to know what our website is about, which means we need to use our keyword on our website. Let me show you an example of what I mean. Like I said, I am going to throw myself right under the bus here and show you my very first website. Okay, here it is. I was so proud of it at the time, but now I see so much wrong with it from an SEO standpoint. Let's start with the opening text here. Hey there, I'm Erin. I'm so glad you're here. Great. I've got a couple paragraphs here about me. I've got the city, which is good. But nowhere on here do I say that I'm an Albuquerque family photographer, which is what I would want to be showing up as a search result for. So while this isn't bad because it's a way that I'm trying to connect with my client, it's just not helping me with Google. Now, if I keep scrolling, I've got some links to next pages on my site. I've got a testimonial, which, side note, way too long, should break up that text. Also, it doesn't have my keywords in it. Contact form, enter my email list, and then I've got my footer here that's on my current site that's been updated, so that wasn't there before. But you scroll through my entire homepage on my first website, and nowhere on here was I telling Google that I'm an Albuquerque family photographer. So it was no wonder that I wasn't showing up in search results. Now, let's compare this to my current homepage. While the changes are subtle, you'll notice that right off the bat, I'm using my key phrase in a subheader here. I'm a Dayton family photographer. That's what I want to optimize this page for. So I'm including that in the text right off the bat. Now, as I scroll down, I have it in the footer in a couple places as well. Most of the rest of this, design-wise, of course, has changed, but I didn't include it anywhere else because it didn't feel natural to do that. But down in my footer here, I have that I'm a Dayton family photographer serving the specific cities that I'm serving. That helps for SEO as well. And then I have it in one more place down here too. So the big takeaway here is that once you decide on your keyword or phrase, you have to use it. But you want to make sure you're using it naturally. If you overdo it, called keyword stuffing, and start putting your keywords everywhere, even in places that don't make sense, Google will actually penalize you for that. So you want to make sure that you're using it naturally. Try to use it in a title, in a header, in a subheader, in a paragraph text, all the different kinds, but do so in a way that's natural. Again, you're going to be penalized if you do it in a way that looks forced. In addition to web copy, Google is also reading your alternative text or your alt text. So you want to be using your keywords and key phrases here too. Now let's back up for a second. If you don't know what alt text is, it's really just a written description of an image. It's primarily used for accessibility purposes to help somebody who's visiting your site using a screen reader, but can also be helpful to somebody who is either disabled image downloading or encounters a broken link. The text description can explain to them what the image is. As with web copy, it's best not to stuff your keywords here. The primary purpose of alt text is to describe your image. Now, if you can do that in a way that uses your keywords, great. But if not, don't force the keywords to be in your alt text. Google will penalize you for this as well, which again, is not what we're going for. Let me show you how I do this on my homepage too. As you can see, I use SHOWIT for my website, but if you're using another platform, you can still apply these same ideas there. In looking at the first picture of me on my homepage, the purpose of it is to allow potential clients to connect with me immediately when they land on my page. So if I click on the image and I go over to the alt text, the way I want to describe the alt text is that it's a picture of me. So I've written it as a portrait of Erin Thompson, a Dayton family photographer. So I found a way to work my key phrase into the alt text for that image in a way that was natural. I could have been a lot more specific and said, a picture of me in a green shirt sitting on a couch with a camera on my lap, but that's not really the purpose of the image on the page. The purpose is that it's a picture of me, so I was able to easily work my keyword into that as well. Now, as you work your way down the page, in this image, for example, I wish these boxes were a little bit bigger so we could see it more easily, but I have a little girl in a green dress twirling for Erin Thompson, a Dayton family photographer. Again, the purpose of the image is it's this little girl twirling, but I was able to work in that I'm the one that took it and I'm a Dayton family photographer. Now in this next image here, I just have that it's parents sitting under a tree with their toddler and pup. I don't use the keywords anywhere, and that's okay. I don't want to use them on every single image on the page. Google's going to view that as keyword stuffing and will not treat us as well as a result of that. So same thing with this last image here. It's a photo of a dad tossing his son in front of a helicopter, but I didn't use date and family photographer in that one. Now, you can write alt text, and you should write alt text for every single image on your page. If you have a gallery scroll or something like this on your page, if you're using SHOWIT, you can go into the gallery image settings, and then for every single one of them, you have the option to write a description. And you'll want to be including those keywords in your description, again, in ways that are natural and make sense, not just stuffing the keyword into the alt text for every image. Now, one more thing while we're on the back end, you also want to use your keywords in your page title and your meta description. So if you're in SHOWIT, you can go to that by going to your page and then the SEO settings menu, and you'll see here boxes for your page title and meta description. This is the actual title and description that will show up in a Google search result or anywhere else you share your site. So again, we want to be using our keywords in these to further reinforce to Google that this is what this page is about. While you can work to optimize your website on other platforms, I highly recommend SHOWIT. I've been using SHOWIT for my website since I started my business, and have been thrilled with the flexibility that I have in terms of the design, but also the control that I have over my SEO. Plus, their online tutorials are great and their customer support is fantastic. So if you're interested in checking it out, I have an affiliate link that I'll put in the description below. You can get 1 free month and see what you think. I hope that was helpful. I know that SEO can be so overwhelming, but identifying your keywords and using them strategically is a great way to start optimizing your website so that Google can work for you and you can focus on what you really enjoy doing, taking beautiful pictures and serving your clients well. Thanks for watching, friend. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can drop those in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.